Welcome back to my channel. I'm Neil Chase, creator of Iron Dogs and the upcoming feature film, Contamination. And if there's one topic I love to discuss, it's the bad guys. So over the next few videos, we'll explore villain archetypes, the timeless patterns that define the villains we love to hate. We'll look at where these archetypes come from, how they differ from hero archetypes, and what makes them so great in fiction. And by the end of each video, you'll have a better understanding of how to use these archetypes to craft your own unforgettable villains. So for our first video in this series, I figured let's start at the top with the worst of the worst, the big bad, Evil Incarnate himself, aka the Evil Overlord. We'll define what makes him tick, explore their strengths and weaknesses, and dive into some iconic examples from film and literature. So grab your popcorn, let's get started. What makes a great villain? Is it their power, their cunning, or the way they get under the hero's skin? The truth is, every unforgettable villain has something deeper at work: their archetype. But what exactly is an archetype, and why does it matter so much in storytelling? At its most basic, an archetype is a universal pattern in storytelling, a recurring character type, symbol, or theme that we recognize across cultures and throughout history. The concept of archetypes was first popularized by psychologist Carl Jung, who believed these patterns exist in our collective unconscious, reflecting fundamental aspects of human nature. For example, in fiction, the hero archetype represents courage and sacrifice, while the mentor archetype offers guidance and wisdom. Archetypes give characters a sense of familiarity while leaving room for writers to add their own unique spin. So how do villain archetypes differ from hero archetypes? While hero archetypes represent the qualities we admire, bravery, selflessness, perseverance, villain archetypes explore the darker side of human nature: greed, corruption, revenge, or the pursuit of power at any cost. But here's the twist. The best villains often share traits with heroes. In fact, many villain archetypes are dark reflections of hero archetypes. So let's start with the darkest one. What happens when evil isn't just a flaw in a character, but their entire identity? Enter the Evil Overlord archetype, the ultimate embodiment of malevolence and domination. These villains aren't just bad. They're pure, unrelenting evil. Think Sauron in The Lord of the Rings or Emperor Palpatine in Star Wars. Their goal isn't personal revenge or misguided justice. It's absolute control and destruction. So if you're looking for a villain who personifies pure evil, you're in the right place. These characters have little to no redeeming qualities and seek to dominate, destroy, and control everything in their path. Unlike more nuanced villains with complex motivations, the Evil Overlord operates on pure malevolence and a hunger for power. This archetype often thrives in genre fiction like fantasy, sci-fi, and horror. They are larger-than-life villains, all-powerful, fear-inducing, and unstoppable. The Evil Overlord doesn't need a sob story or a tragic past to explain their actions. They do evil because they can. Their presence in a story isn't just a challenge for the hero, but a representation of absolute moral corruption. The Evil Overlord resonates with audiences because it taps into universal fears and moral dilemmas. These villains embody the idea of absolute power and corruption, a reflection of our real-world anxieties about tyranny and oppression. Think of real-life figures or regimes that abused power for domination and control. Hitler, Stalin, Pol Pot, Genghis Khan, and so many others. It's easy to see how reality can spill over into fiction, making this archetype feel grounded even in the most fantastical settings. Stories with an overlord often feel timeless because they address fundamental questions like, what makes someone truly evil? What is the cost of standing up to them? Bottom line, these characters symbolize the danger of unchecked ambition and invite audiences to reflect on their own values and beliefs. But more than that, they also speak to something deeper. The Evil Overlord forces us to confront the darker sides of humanity: greed, arrogance, and the temptation to use power selfishly. This archetype holds up a mirror and asks, what would you do if you had ultimate power? Finally, their stories are deeply cathartic. Watching a hero overcome such overwhelming evil gives us hope, a reminder that even the darkest forces can be defeated. It's this combination of fear, reflection, and triumph that makes the Evil Overlord so fascinating. So what makes the Evil Overlord such a powerful archetype? Well, for starters, these villains are often incredibly powerful, whether through magic, technology, or armies at their command. Their overwhelming strength makes them a truly daunting adversary. Think of Sauron, whose power casts a shadow over Middle-earth, or Emperor Palpatine, who manipulates the galaxy from the shadows. And because they represent absolute evil, the stakes in stories featuring overlords are crystal clear. The hero isn't just fighting for survival. They're fighting to save the world from annihilation or enslavement. In The Wizard of Oz, the Wicked Witch of the West's relentless pursuit of Dorothy and her companions raises the stakes for the entire adventure. Because it's not just Dorothy's life on the line. It's the fate of Oz itself. And lastly, evil overlords are larger than life. Their personalities, designs, and methods leave a lasting impression on audiences. Whether it's the glowing eye of Sauron, Thulsa Doom's unshakable confidence or booming voice, or Cruella de Vil's maniacal obsessions, these villains linger in our memories long after the story ends. But no archetype is without its flaws, and the Evil Overlord has some notable weaknesses. Because they're pure evil, these villains can sometimes feel one-dimensional. Without personal motivations or inner conflict, they risk becoming less relatable or compelling to the audience. Think of Mola Ram in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. While he's terrifying and larger than life, his single-minded pursuit of power and chaos can make him feel less layered than other characters. The Evil Overlord's immense power also often leads to arrogance. They underestimate the hero, assuming their plans are flawless, and refuse to see their own vulnerabilities. This hubris is almost always their downfall. Hans Landa in Inglourious Basterds is a brilliant manipulator, but his overconfidence and underestimation of the bastards ultimately leave him marked for life as the monster that he is. Evil overlords also rarely get their hands dirty. They rely on armies, lieutenants, or dark magic to do their bidding, which creates openings for the hero to exploit. For example, Sauron's reliance on his minions and his ring ultimately leads to his undoing, as Frodo and Sam, two little hobbits, destroy it despite all odds. So let's look at some more iconic examples of the Evil Overlord archetype. Sauron is the first that comes to mind, the ultimate embodiment of darkness. He seeks to conquer Middle-earth through fear, domination, and the power of the One Ring. His presence looms over the story, even though he rarely appears directly. Count Dracula, or more recently, Count Orlok. His insatiable thirst for blood and domination over others cements his place as one of the most iconic overlords in horror literature and film. Voldemort from Harry Potter. His pursuit of immortality and his hatred of non-magical people make him a perfect example of this archetype. He's driven by a need to dominate and destroy anyone who opposes him. Immortan Joe in Mad Max. A despotic ruler in a post-apocalyptic world, Joe's only goal is to preserve his family's power and to ensure its reign through future generations, regardless of the pain and suffering he causes to those around him. And finally, the devil or Satan. As the ultimate evil overlord, the devil appears in countless stories as the personification of temptation, corruption, and ultimate power. Whether it's Paradise Lost or films like The Devil's Advocate, this figure defines what it means to embody pure evil. So there you have it. The Evil Overlord is a villain archetype that represents absolute power and corruption. Their strengths lie in their unmatched dominance and iconic presence, but their arrogance and lack of nuance can also lead to their downfall. They're not just villains. They're forces of nature, symbols of unchecked evil that challenge everything the hero stands for. But hey, these are just my 2 cents. Give me yours. Let me know in the comments below who's your favorite Evil Overlord and what makes them so unforgettable. And if you're looking for my takes on Evil Incarnate, click the links below to check out my novel Iron Dogs, which features a creature of pure evil. Or check out my supernatural film Spin the Wheel, featuring a group of ordinary people facing off against the devil himself. Out now on Tubi. And if you're looking for more unique storytelling tips to take your fiction to the next level, click that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell to stay updated with the latest content. Until next time, stay creative.